All right, welcome to Module 1.4. We are moving right through Module 1, which is all about the mindset that we need to apply to our business financials to make sure we're getting to where we want to go and driving success, profits, revenue, and the things that we want in business. The whole goal is to develop that mindset and approach, and this particular session here, 1.4, is where we're going to talk about some actual financial principles that get us to a place of freedom and of what we want. And we're going to get into these pieces of cash flow and profitability a lot more in depth in Module 3 and Module 4. But right here, we're going to take the high level view so that you can see a linear progression of where this is going to go and what it's going to look like when we dig in a lot deeper. So the real goal of everything and what all of your financial world ties back to is cash flow and profitability. Like if your business can produce excess cash, no matter what it is you want, like whatever you decided in 1.1 that was your dream or your vision, it's going to tie back to your ability to produce excess cash, and that's what we're going to talk about here in this session. So here's a quote from Philip, our friend, who you're going to hear from in Module 3 and Module 4. But what he says is, your success in business will ultimately be determined by the degree to which you create and hang on to cash. And so that's in all caps, and that's how Philip will talk about it, because cash is king in business and is the most important thing. And it doesn't mean we're all about money. It's because excess cash is really the key to doing anything that you want. Because when you have cash, it provides security. It eliminates that fear of, will I make payroll? Can I invest in this? Can I make these decisions? Cash allows for growth, and we'll talk about that later, how sometimes, we always focus on revenue, but you can double your revenue and you can blow through all your cash as you try to keep up with that growth. Cash allows for investing in employees. We want happy employees. We want people to, love what we do and being a part of it. And without cash, it's hard to, make those investments and make people rewarded for the things that they do. And cash allows for a greater impact. So if you are, you're not all about the money, you're about impact, you're about making a difference. Well, cash helps with that because it allows you to make investments and to do things. And cash also allows the owners of the business to take money home and take it out and build a legacy in their own family, in their own household. So whatever it is that you want to do, and there's more possibilities than what I have listed here, the point I'm trying to make is your ability to produce excess cash is the key to being able to do that. So it really breaks down into three pieces and three stages in generating enough cash to create the freedom to whatever you want in your business. And we're going to break those into three steps, and I'm going to walk through each one of these three in a lot more detail. So first is you confront your financial reality. We talked a lot about that in 1.3, but now we're going to get into some details on what that means. Then you create a safety net. So this is important as a business owner, because before you can, accelerate your growth, you have to build some cash reserves to, help you against anything that may come up or create a challenge. Then you grow and enjoy financial success. That's the destination we all want to get to. We want to, get a healthy, profitable business that continues to produce excess cash and allows us to get to where we want to go. So let's break those down. So when you confront your financial reality, the very first thing you have to do is build your cash balance to 1 month of operating expenses. This is all straight from Philip's book, Quick Start Guide to Financial Forecasting, and it's kind of a bonus section to breathe financial life into your business and to start thinking about things this way. And so this provides like a little roadmap to think about the business you have and what it takes to be healthy. And if you remember what we talked about in 1.3, you have to be willing to confront your financial reality, the brutal facts. So if you don't have money in the bank to cover 1 month of operating expenses, well, that's priority number one. That's the first thing you have to do. Then you put enough income aside to pay your income taxes. So, you generating profit is a great thing, but you don't get to keep all that profit. You're going to get taxed on it, and so you need to set aside money that's going to take care of that. Then you have to diagnose profitability and cash flow weaknesses. So the confronting your financial reality piece is to look at, am I producing cash flow in my business? Am I producing excess cash flow? And if not, what are the weaknesses that I have? What are some places that I'm investing money that it's not producing a return? Or what are some initiatives that I expected, to be profitable, but it turns out they're not? And if you gloss over your financial reports, you can miss that and realize there are opportunities for profitability that you're missing out on, and that would make your business a whole lot stronger. Then we're going to create a reliable financial forecast for 6 to 18 months, and that's exactly what Philip's going to break down in Module 3 on how to do that. But that's a big part of confronting your financial reality. So it's taking, where am I now, extrapolating that onto the future. And so if things continued on the way they are, this is where I would be in 6 months. This is where I'd be in a year. This is where I'd be in 18 months. If I'm not happy with that, then I can make adjustments and see what would need to change for me to be in a different place in the future. It's such a powerful tool, and I can't wait to have you go through that. But you've got to get this mindset right first before it makes sense to really put that together. Then you want to create a financial safety net. So once you've confronted the financial reality, you need to now develop a financial safety net so that you're in a good place. And so part of that is paying your bank line down. So you don't want debt, you don't want to owe money. You get rid of that so that you're operating off of your own cash flow that you're generating, and then you can begin to multiply it. Then you reduce personal guarantees. And so this we can't cover in much detail here, but it's covered in more detail in Philip's book, and I will provide the link to that in more detail in the inside the course if that's something you're really interested in. But it's important that you, as your business grows, that you separate yourself personally from that business. And so you don't want a lot of your own personal life tied to the business, because then you have a lot more security, a lot more confidence in what's going on to keep yourself, as your own individual entity, and your business is its own individual entity, and they're not completely married to each other. Then, building on what we covered in confronting your financial reality, you need to build your cash balance up to 3 months of operating expenses. So now you're in a place where if something unexpected happens, something goes wrong, you have a safety net. And so you don't, just because you're producing excess cash and profitability, doesn't mean you need to distribute all of that to yourself or to your employees. It's good to build up some cash balances, because there's no guarantees that this is going to continue on forever. You need to have that safety net built up. Then, if you're at that point and you have a business that's profitable and you are producing excess cash and you have a reliable financial forecast, you're in a pretty good spot. And now you have some operating expenses built up into the bank. Now you can double down on your success, and that's where it gets fun. And so we talk about growing and enjoying financial success. You want to enjoy this. You want to have fun. Have fun along the journey. Have fun with what you're doing, and that looks different for everybody. But you can, start to use that existing cash flow to invest in things that are going to make a bigger impact. So it could be, capital expenditures and growth capital. So if you have a model that works and that is spitting off cash, then you are now in a position where you can invest back into the business and know that because you've built this forecast, you know what your key drivers are, you can accelerate that growth and use it to produce even more cash. Then you want to pay down your remaining debt, get rid of that so that, the cash that you're producing is pure profit, and you can accelerate that schedule to get rid of it, and, put yourself in a position to enjoy even more financial success. And then, best of all, you reward the owners of the business with cash. So whatever that looks like for you, you reward the owners, you continue to repeat by investing back into the business. Once you're in this place where you've created the financial safety net, you've created the forecast, you are on a path to freeing yourself up, rewarding yourself, rewarding your employees, rewarding even your clients and customers with better service. That's the goal. That's where we're going, and that's the whole point of what we're going to do and what we're going to break down in modules 3 and 4. But first, you have to kind of get this holistic view of breathing financial life into your business. So if I were you, I would take this slide and print it out and keep it in front of you, because this timeline, you can't skip the steps. You have to work through each one and then get to that end goal of rewarding the owners with cash. And so when you create the financial forecast, this is the goal, is to figure out how to get there. How far are you now from this point where you're producing excess cash and using it for good and for your goals, and ultimately arriving at a place of freedom. Because when you have cash reserves built up, you have a business that's producing cash. What that means is freedom. Freedom to build the business you want, the life you want, do the things you want, spend time on the things that you care about. Because when you're short on cash, you don't have freedom. You have to make decisions based on short-term things, based on scarcity, based on need, rather than on want. And that's the whole point of being an entrepreneur, is not necessarily that it's like a life of vacation. It's a lot of hard work. The goal is to do the things you want to do and do them when you want to do them and do them on your own terms. And if you're short on cash, you don't do things on your own terms. You do things on other people's terms. And that's not what we want. That's the same thing as having a job. You just are answering to someone else besides a boss. So think about that. Breathe financial life into your business and start to work yourself toward that path to freedom, and have that mindset as we come to the financial forecast, and realizing that this all comes down to cash flow and profitability to get you that freedom to build the business you want.